When Rachel saw that she had borne Jacob no children, she became envious of her sister. And Rachel said to Jacob, "Give me children, or I shall die." Jacob was incensed at Rachel and said, "Can I take the place of God who has denied you fruit of the womb?" Through the lens of universal spirituality and oneness, we must see how Moses draws a clear distinction between divine initiative and human ego. While Leah's journey was presented as God acting through compassion for her suffering here, Rachel is driven by envy. She said, "Here is my maid Bilhah, consort with her, that she may bear on my knees, and through her I too may have children." So she gave him her maid Bilhah as a concubine, and Jacob cohabited with her. Bilhah conceived and bore Jacob a son. And Rachel said, "God has vindicated me indeed. God has heard my plea." Therefore, she named him Dan. Here, the text reveals the difference between divine blessing and human manipulation. Rachel, driven by jealousy, uses another human being, her servant, as a tool to achieve her desire, and then wraps her actions in divine language, claiming God vindicated her. No soul should ever be reduced to a tool or means to an end. True spiritual light demands every person be treated with dignity. Then Rachel's maid Bilhah conceived again and bore Jacob a second son. And Rachel said, "A fateful contest I waged with my sister. Yes, and I have prevailed." So she named him Naphtali. Moses writes this plainly to expose their spiritual blindness. Rachel openly calls it a contest. Her actions are not rooted in love for Jacob or devotion to the divine, but in rivalry with her sister. Scripture does not glorify this act, it exposes it, showing what happens when people lose sight of what is right. The soul's true purpose is not outdoing another, but finding unity. When Leah saw that she had stopped bearing children, she took her maid Zilpah and gave her to Jacob as a concubine. And when Leah's maid Zilpah bore Jacob a son, Leah said, "What luck?" So she named him Gad. When Leah's maid Zilpah bore Jacob a second son, Leah declared, "What fortune," meaning women will deem me fortunate. So she named him Asher. The contest deepens and Leah falls into the same pattern again. The sacredness of life is overshadowed by rivalry, and the humanity of the servant ignored. Neither Rachel, Leah, nor Jacob recognize the wrong in playing with the lives of these women. These stories are not behaviors to imitate, but warnings meant to wake humanity from division and the danger of treating others as stepping stones for personal gain. Once, at the time of the wheat harvest, Reuben came upon mandrakes in the field and brought them to Leah. Rachel said, "Please, give me some of your son's mandrakes." But she said, "Was it not enough for you to take away my husband, that you would also take my son's mandrakes?" Rachel replied, "I promise he shall lie with you tonight in return for your son's mandrakes." This is a stark moment where relationships become transactions. The bond of intimacy is traded over roots from a field. When people become bargaining chips, humanity loses connection to divine unity. Love cannot be traded. When Jacob came home from the field, Leah went out to meet him and said, "You are to sleep with me, for I have hired you with my son's mandrake." And he lay with her that night. To hire intimacy reduces something sacred into cheap exchange, revealing how deeply the family lost sight of dignity. Universal oneness is built on love, and reverence never bargains. Then God heeded Leah, and she conceived and bore him a fifth son. And Leah said, "God has given me my reward for having given my maid to my husband." So she named him Issachar. Then Leah conceived again and bore Jacob a sixth son. She said, "God has given me a choice gift. This time my husband will exalt me, for I have borne him 6 sons." So she named him Zebulun. Last, she bore him a daughter and named her Dinah. Leah remains trapped in the illusion that victories in numbers will bring her love. Yet true worth is never found in competition. The journey toward fulfillment is not a race against others. Now God remembered Rachel. God heeded her and opened her womb. She conceived and bore a son and said, "God has taken away my disgrace." So she named him Joseph. That is to say, "May God add another son for me." After Rachel had borne Joseph, Jacob said to Laban, "Give me leave to go back to my own homeland." Notice the shift. Only now does Moses write, "God remembered Rachel." After the plotting rivalry and misuse of servants, true divine intervention finally arrives. This grace is distinct from earlier human interventions. Moses highlights these flaws honestly, so do not use Holy Scripture as a shield for sin. Instead, respect the divine words and learn the lessons from the sacred books. Haqq Al-Noor.